Hello everybody and welcome to a Minecraft tutorial. Today we're going to take a look at this happy little device that I built, my witch farm. I built this because I was not too pleased with the usage of the witch farm that I built on the No Skillcraft server. You lose a couple spawning spaces because of the way that the pistons have to take up some spots and water can't run as far and yeah, all that jazz. And I'm not a fan of the shifting floor design just because it feels a little glitchy to me, and I imagine that at some point the developers are going to fix it. And I looked for something that just used dispensers and I couldn't find any, so I built one myself using dispensers, water buckets, and this little timing circuit over here, which we'll go into in a little bit of more detail here shortly. In a second I'm going to jump into game mode 3 so we can watch this bad boy in action. But yes, it's a pretty simple design. It uses just a torch tower to power up some redstone in the back here, and a double firing monostable circuit to ensure that we get these floors all flushed out. We jump into game mode 3, and the timing circuit is worked out perfectly where no matter how many witches happen to get themselves crammed onto a floor, it will push them all off and then turn itself off just as they're getting off the other side. So let's see how many we can get. This might be a smaller little push because I jumped into game mode 3 partway through the cycle, but we'll see. I'll point out that this gives you about 3,600 items per hour. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but it averages out to 3,600. And they fall off and then it turns off. So it's perfectly timed. I've never seen a single witch manage to stay on these platforms after a cycle's run. Sometimes it gets a little hairy. Sometimes you're just like, oh, they're not going to make it, and then they just barely make it off. So I've got this timing circuit down pretty solid there. We'll just wait for this next cycle to run, and then we'll look at the circuitry a little bit closer, and then we'll actually get into the building of it in case you need to see me build it all the way up. But we'll start by talking about the diagrams of the wiring and stuff, just in case that's all you need. You can see we can get quite a lot of witches, and it does get a little bit loud. Let me turn down my sound a little bit here real quick. And as you can see, they're all getting flushed, and you're like, oh, they're all gonna make it, and yes, they all make it just as the water gets shut off, and then new witches start popping in immediately. So I'm gonna cut this clip here, and I'm gonna throw up an image of the wiring, and we're going to discuss it a little more detail. So here is the overall wiring. We've got a standard hopper clock that runs into a monostable circuit to turn its signal into a pulse. That pulse is then split into two different directions. The first one just fires the monostable circuit into the torch tower in order to activate all the dispensers. It also splits off into a long repeater delay chain to go into it a second time in order to turn the dispensers back off after the required amount of time. As timing is very important to this overall circuit, I've gone ahead and thrown the number of ticks up on each of the repeaters. It's very important that this very last repeater is on 2 or more ticks. If it's on 1 tick, it's not going to be enough to actually trigger the torch tower, and you're not going to actually be able to activate and deactivate the dispensers. So essentially 4 ticks on everything except for the first monostable circuit. You just want to send a 1 tick pulse out. It can be others, it doesn't really matter, but 1 tick is what I use here, and then 2 ticks on the other 2 that aren't in the delay chain. The last thing I want to note here as far as the circuitry is concerned is you actually want to put slabs down on top of all of these exposed surfaces, as you can see that I've done here, so that way you don't get spiders and zombies and shit spawning on top of your circuitry. So basically anything that isn't covered by redstone or a repeater, throw a slab down on top of. The last thing I want to mention here before we get into the building of it is conditioning. You need to condition the area around your slime farm in a large radius. Basically, you're going to end up with a platform up high in the sky. You can see my camera account is hanging out on there right now, so that way he can be in a position to actually spawn mobs. So you need to go 128 block sphere around that point, and make all the area not spawnable. Now, it's not a matter of just lighting it up like you would for any other normal mob farm, because you're in a swamp, and a swamp means slimes. So you're left with basically two options. You can make everything underwater by either smashing it down with shovels and whatnot, like I've done here. You can blow it all up using TNT, so that way it ends up underwater, like I've done in this section. Or you can slab it all up with bottom slabs, like I've done here. If you put your AFK box way up in the sky, then you don't have to worry so much about caves that are down below. Game mode 3, because there's going to be caves under here, so you need to make sure that you light up any caves like I've done over here where mobs might start spawning at, because you don't want to reduce the efficiency of your farm, so you do that. And that AFK box, I guess I'll point out right now, is 128 blocks above this point. This is the killing point of the farm. Once the witches get flushed out, they're going to fall down this chamber and die down here. I guess I should point out too that this needs to be 32 blocks below the floor here. They need to drop 32 blocks in order to make sure that they die. So this is 32 blocks below that, and then that AFK platform is 128 blocks above this. And then I just run them into some chests here. You can run them into like an item elevator. You can do whatever you want with them at that point. The killing, shoot, and stuff is all pretty basic stuff. That's not too difficult to do. So yes, you need to condition it a lot. As you can see, I had to do a bit over here because they were spawning over in this section, and then I flooded over here as well because they were spawning over here. So there is a fair bit of conditioning you have to do, and sadly you can't just light it all up and expect to be happy like you would. So I figured I would point that out, and now we're going to get into the building, which is going to be done in two sections. The first one, I'm just going to build in a world and show kind of where the platforms need to be, and then we'll jump into like a redstone testing world, so that way I can build it in a clean mode. So let's get on with that part. So I toyed around with some testing worlds to see if I could make it generate a witch hut that would actually spawn witches and stuff, and it wasn't working very well. So all I've done here is I've regenerated the world that I did my witch farm in that you saw a few minutes ago, and I'm going to rebuild it here in this. This is going to be the world download copy that I'll have linked into the description. So obviously we're going to get on with the building. The first thing you need to do is find yourself a witch farm, which I've already happened to know where one was at. And once you've located it, you just need to go ahead and slap down a layer of blocks all along the roof. You want to make yourself an 8x7 platform that covers the entire roof area, just like so. And once I've got this blocks in place, I'll be back in 1 sec. Once you've got your new roof built out of blocks, and again, this can either be blocks or slabs, your choice. I'm just using iron blocks to make it easy to see the separation and whatnot. You're going to go ahead and come down come down 3. The first 2 are going to be temporary blocks, so you can go ahead and remove these, and then you do the same thing again, come down by 3 and remove the temporary blocks. And now you can go ahead and dispatch with the local friendly witch here, and then you can go ahead and remove the witch's house. So let's kill the witch, and then you can start destroying all the house. So let me go ahead and get this house out of here. Once you've gotten rid of the witch's hut, you can go ahead and build the remaining 8x7 platforms and finish out the spawning areas of the witch farm. So you just gotta do this for both the remaining layers. Let me get these platforms in place right now. Once you've got your platforms in place, you want to go ahead and find your 7 side row as opposed to your 8, and throw down a temporary block there. Go ahead and throw a dispenser on top of it, remove the temporary block, and then fill in your row of dispensers here, just like so. Clicky, clicky, and then you want to go ahead and and do the same thing on the other two platforms. So let me get the dispensers all in place. So the next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and throw down a bunch of blocks on the back of all your dispensers. Do that for all 3 of the rows. Come on now, clicky clicky. Get all my blocks in place. Come on. Oops. And once you've done that, you want to go ahead and cover all the rows blocks up with redstone dust, just like so. Clicky. Alright, and then you need to build your torch tower. So this is how this is going to go. You're going to come down here, and you're going to put a block on there, and then you're going to put a torch on it. A redstone torch, of course. Boom. Then you're going to come down here, and you're going to go under, and you're going to go over one, and then you're going to put a redstone torch right on the bottom of this guy like that. And then you're just going to do your regular old torch tower up. Click, and boop, and boop. And it doesn't matter that these are going to be on by default. That is quite alright. So now that you've got that in place, you're ready for the next step, which is going to be to come down here and start building out the actual circuitry for how everything goes. So let me get set up for that, and I'll be back in a second. So the next thing I recommend doing is go ahead and slap a button right down on this block, just so you have a way to manually trigger all the dispensers. I use it for 2 reasons. Mostly to turn the farm off when I want to be around in the area and just flood the floors. I basically turn off the hopper timer, and then I flood the floors and nothing can spawn in it. And in the very rare chance that this could possibly get stuck in a dispensed mode, you can just trigger it off. But the way it's built, with both pulses coming off a single one off the hopper clock, it shouldn't be possible, even if you unload the chunks, for it to get stuck like that. So it's a pretty solid design, but the next thing you need to do is come down 1 block and over. And this is going to be the thing we got to do, is build everything right on the line of the water. And you're going to go ahead and you're going to put a repeater on 2 ticks into that block. And then you need to build a monostable circuit that goes into it. So you go ahead and stick a sticky piston with a block on it. And then from here we need to come out a couple of blocks. What is it? 1, 2, 3, and 4. That should be enough, right? And we're going to put redstone on these 2. And this is where our second line is going to come in. So we want to put a repeater here on 2 ticks. And this is just to prevent it from flowing back in and around and causing a loop. And then we want to come down 4 blocks, I believe. We'll find out here in a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to put redstone on all of these. Down low enough that I can click it. And then this should come off. Yes, okay. So now we're going to come off into our hopper chain, or our repeater chain. So we need 19 of them in total. So we come out 11 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we come back and we come in to meet up with this block here. And then we can just fill in all of these ones here. And we can start our repeater chain going out. And these should all be on 4 ticks. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and we loop it around. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. And then we go ahead and put redstone here. This is going to be another repeater on 1 tick, so we're just going to send a 1 tick pulse out of this monostable circuit right here. And And this monostable circuit is going to get its input from something that comes out like this, from another repeater. So we need to come down. So this monostable circuit is going to get powered by this repeater, and that repeater is going to get powered by the hopper clock. So we need to build a block here, and we need to come over and up and down, and we need, let's see, hopper, and we need a comparator, and we need to build our hopper clock right in here. So that's going to be a comparator, hopper, hopper, comparator block. And that block is going to come down, and it's going to give us a piece of redstone here and a piece of redstone here. And we need to put two hoppers, oops, going into each other, like so. Comparator coming off of each, and then we need to go ahead and put a sticky piston on the redstone there, and on the redstone here. Whoops. Come on, get down there. Ah, come on. I'm not used to creative mode. I don't play a lot of creative mode Minecraft, so this whole flying thing is kind of new to me. And we want to go ahead and grab a redstone block, which we can go ahead and slap right onto this guy. Come on. And in here we want to put a stack of something. I guess we can just do this. And nope, not a single one. I need to grab, how do I grab a whole stack of something? Where did, oh, it's there. How's it getting fired? I don't know. Alright. Iron blocks. Gotta shift click it from there because of course I do. And there we go. And you want to just grab a lever. Oops. Lever that you can go ahead and slap right down on here, just so you have the ability to turn the whole system on and off, which it'll only turn off when it actually hits that block. And this is basically the whole thing done. So basically the hopper timer fires through here, and this monostable circuit will only let it fire at the moment it goes from powered to depowered. So when this hopper has all 64 items in it, for that 2.5 ticks that happens, this comparator will turn off and depower this circuit, and then it immediately get powered back on for the entire duration of the stack to go all the way over here and then all the way back. But at that moment we get this monostable circuit to fire, which will of course power up and turn on all the dispensers at the same time as it activates our delay chain, which will fire and deactivate all the dispensers and give us our perfectly timed circuit. And of course now you want to go ahead and slab over all of the exposed surfaces. So you want to put a slab on here, 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 right between them, on there, there, and here. And you want to come over and slab one on there and one on here. Now this one's going to get pushed up by the monostable circuit. That's fine. Occasionally what you'll see, oh, and there's of course this monostable circuit right here. Occasionally you'll see a spider somehow spawn on this monostable circuit. I can't find a way to get around it. It shouldn't be possible, but it does, and whatever. It's very rare, and it's a single spider, and it'll despawn pretty quick. So that's all the wiring in place. The next thing we need to do is go ahead and grab some more iron blocks here and start building out the actual walls and whatnot. So you need to build 2, 3, 4 out as solid blocks, and then the rest can be glassy bits. You can use whatever you want, transparent blocks, whatever, but these ones here have to be solid blocks on both sides, and that's just because of the torch tower. Well, you got to do solid blocks on this side because of the torch tower, but for symmetry's sake I do solid blocks on both sides. But realistically you only have to do them on the side with your torch tower. You can mess around with trying to get the torch tower in the back. I've not had much success with that. Oh, that's up too high. You want to break these off right here. You only want a too high wall at any point so you don't have anything else weird spawning inside. And then you want to do the same thing over on this side, and then you want to come around here and you want to kind of like fill in all of the space in behind here, just so that way nothing can spawn, nothing can run out in here, nothing like that. So let me get the back and the other side all filled in here, and I'll be back in just a sec. What I recommend doing after you've got all the walls and the back in place is go ahead and stick water buckets in all of your dispensers. Already done the first 2 floors, so I'm just putting these last 7 in place here now. 5 and 6 and 7. So you should have water in all your dispensers. You should have your walls that are coming out 4 on both sides. Did I only come out 3 here? Yeah, I didn't even come out far enough on this side. Look at me go. Look at me go. How bad is that? Oh, and then I'm misplacing all these blocks because now it's all in my face wrong, and you should actually look something like this. And then what I recommend doing is come down here and give your little button a push. And make sure all your dispensers come on. Make sure there's water coming out of all of them, because at this point is the best place to figure out that you missed a dispenser, because there's still no witches spawning inside. If you figure it out after you've completed the next few spits, then it's going to get significantly harder. After that, recommend grabbing whatever you want to build it out of. Again, I'm going to use glass. You can build this out of solid blocks or whatever. And just build it out 1 past the edge. So you want to leave like a one wide drop chute all the way down. So you just come around and do that on both sides and build yourself up. Oops, I went too far. Too far. Still not used to this creative mode flying around nonsense. And you just want to do this. Oops, I got a misplaced block here. And again, you just want to go all the way up with this to this point. So let me get the wall in place, and I'll be back in a sec. Once you've got all the walls in place, the next thing I recommend doing is finishing the drop chute. It's easiest to finish this now instead of later, because if you wait till later, you're going to have to contend with witches, because you're almost done. There's only a couple steps left here. Basically the drop chute, and then you need to build up the roof on top. Sorry, I was trying to think of what I was trying to say at the same time as trying to figure out how to build this. But basically you just want to come around the whole drop chute like so. It's going to be a little bit difficult because there's probably going to be a lot of water in your way, because again, you got to build this crap in a swamp, and swamps are always filled with grossness like water and whatnot. But I recommend doing this part. Just fill in your little 2 by whatever circle here first. God, I went too far. Build this down here. I'll clean up some of the extra glass and stuff at the end. But make sure you're in a nice little sealed off box. And if you've happened to already raid a ocean monument, this could be an easy part for you, or it could be a hard part. If you happen to have sponges, it's way easier, or you can just fill this up with dirt. I'm just going to use sponges because why not? And then voila, you've created yourself a first part of your drop chute. Now, it needs to be 32 blocks from right here, so that way you can guarantee that you kill all the witches. Well, 33 blocks, sorry. It needs to drop 32 blocks. So you take a look, we're at Y63, so we need to drop 33 blocks. We need to be at Y30 is where our hoppers need to be. So you need to start clearing out all of this and bring yourself down to Y30. Well, whatever it's going to be in your world. So let me clear out all of this dirt, and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I'm here at Y30, which is where my hopper line is going to go. I ran into a little bit of a cave here, so that was interesting. Next, you need to figure out which side you want to run all your drops to. I'm just going to run them over to this side. And go ahead and stick a hopper just against the wall there, and then bust out the bottom row here and just make it a hopper chain. Hopper chain that runs into wherever you're going to pick it. I'm just going to run it into some chests over there. Oh, come on. There. Alright. bust my way out temporarily over here and put some blocks back. You want to make sure that, oh, one other important thing to do here while I'm thinking of it, go ahead and stick some torches down on top of these hoppers so you don't have anything spawn down on top of them. Almost forgot about that. And then go ahead and block your way back out and dig yourself just out a little spot here. Just like this. And again, down here you can do pretty much whatever you want with your drops. You can put them into an item elevator and shoot them up. I'm just going to dig out a little spot here and put them into some chests. Dig down a little spot. And yeah, let me just finish up this little spot into some chests. This is not going to be anything exciting. And then I'm going to dig a hole to the surface and get this little area patched up. So I just put some chests in and punched a hole up to the surface. The only thing you got to keep in mind is once you've got up to the surface, you're going to have water to contend with. So, you know, you might want to plan that out a little better than just haphazardly like I did here, depending on what your plan is. Now, the last thing we need to do is put a roof on this thing. So let me go ahead and grab some slabs. And you want to make this out of slabs so that way it's going to be not spawnable on the roof area. And the first thing to do is basically just cover up your entire spawning platform, because that's what's going to give us the count of where we need to be. So I guess I probably went too far there. Let's take this row out. Because you need to make a big roof, but it doesn't need to be super crazy, so you should probably be measured out. So cover up your entire spawn platform with slabs first. Let me get them in place and I'll be back in 1 sec. Once you've got your entire spawn platforms covered up with the slabs, what you need to do is go to every corner and come out 15 both directions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then you come back in and you do the same thing going the other direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then you need to connect them. So you come out like this. You basically make staircases towards the other way. And you just go on a diagonal towards them, back and forth. Oop. Oop, oop. Oh, crap. Ah, stupid creative mode. Stupid creative mode. I play way more survival mode than creative mode, so yeah, I'm not used to building when you're floating around like this. Crap. Making me misplace all these slabs, and then you come up to here. So you have a shape that's kind of like this, and you need to do this for all 4 corners. So let me get those in place. Once you finish that, you should have something that looks a little something like this. And the next step is to go ahead and basically fill in everywhere with slabs, all of the open areas, and make yourself a nice solid roof. So let me get all these parts done. Oh crap, see, and even screwing up parts I've already finished as I'm going through and adding more slabs, because I'm terrible at slab placement in creative, it seems. But let me get the roof finished off here. The finished roof should look a little something like this. And I bet if we go down here, we've probably even got, yeah, look, we've even got a witch in here already. I haven't been very far from it, so it's probably not spawning too great, but we're basically done. The only thing we really have left to do is to build an AFK box. My preference for these is to build them way up in the sky, so you have to worry about less caves. The only thing you got to remember is 128 block sphere around wherever you build that you need to condition. So you know that our hoppers are down at at Y30, so I'm going to build this at like 150, because that's 120 blocks. That should be enough. So yeah, let's just build up to 150. Now of course you can position this wherever. You can put a portal into it. You can build a ladder to it. Oh god, build a ladder to it. I'm just gonna build up because this is a creative world, and why not? I don't use them often. I might as well use them for what they're good for, and that is flying around. And 150. And then I'm just going to build up a little platform here, and I'm going to pull my camera account onto this world to act as our activator guy. The guy's going to stand up here while I'm in spectator mode and can observe things. So give me a second to get him signed in and in position. Alright, so I got the camera account in place. Let me fly back down here and turn the hopper timer on, because I believe it is currently still shut. Oh, look at that. Let me get a sword out here and kill those guys that have spawned on there, because I didn't light it up. I should have made it out of glass. What an idiot, what an idiot. I didn't make it out of glass. I'll just kill this guy here. We get glass. Switch this out with glass. Some mobs will spawn on it. I believe there was there not one more? I think he drowned. Okay. Look at all the witches. Let me just flush those guys out of there. Do the old manual flushing. Bye, witches. Goodbye. Goodbye. Now we'll go ahead and flip that. We'll turn the hopper timer back on. Oops. And then I'll put myself into game mode 3. And we should be able to observe this thing running. There's some witches popping in now. And in a few seconds we should hear the hopper timer, or see the hopper timer fire and start shoving them off. Now, I haven't conditioned any of the land, I haven't done any caving, so it's not at the peak efficiency that it could be at. Again, peak efficiency is around 3,600 items an hour, so not too shabby. But I've got the daylight cycle turned off right now, so we shouldn't get much in the way of other random spawns. But there we have it, a working witch farm. And if we go down here, we should see that we're getting stuff into these chests. Just to make sure that I haven't built the spawn platform too high. Yes, there we go. So we've already got a nice little chunk of items. So there we have it, folks. This is the witch farm design up and running. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to put a world download link in the description. If you enjoyed this tutorial, go ahead and smash the like button. I'm sure I'll have more in the future. If you haven't watched my No Skill Craft series that I play on a server with some friends, you can go ahead and check that out on the channel as well. And subscribe, because I do cool Minecraft things on here, and I'm sure you'll like it. So, yeah, that's it for me for now. I'm out of here.